On Saturday the 19th of August 2023, last year, Newcastle United were playing Man City at the Etihad Stadium in 8 p.m. kickoff. Two Newcastle United fans about an hour before kickoff let off flares in the car parking area just outside the stadium. They were subsequently arrested, kept in cells overnight and then charged with an offence under the Sporting and Events Act of 1985. If convicted, they would face a minimum of a 3-year football banning order. I got involved, and in this video I'm going to show you and explain how I managed to get the case dismissed. It's coming up. Welcome back, it's Eddie here from Tyneside Life, just outside St James's Park on this absolutely beautiful day. First, I just want to mention that yesterday we had the Tyneside Life. It's the Tyneside Life Metro Pub Crawl.
It's coming up.
Metro Pub Crawl, and it was absolutely brilliant. There was about 22 of us all together. I didn't expect that many people to turn up, and it was just such a great day, a new experience for me, trying new bars. Everybody had a really great time. So we started off at the Centurion, we went to West Jesmond, then on to Monk Seaton, Whitley Bay, Tynemouth, and then we even got dragged into the Top House in North Shields before getting the ferry on an unbelievably lovely day across the South Shields into the Alum House, sat on the decking, everybody's laughing and joking. We had one in the Shipping Royal because there was delays to the metro, and then we ended up on Gated High Street. We didn't finish till about 10 o'clock, and that was the challenge. And we finished off by walking across the Tyne Bridge as the sun was going down. Fantastic occasion, brilliant event. I'm so pleased it went well. I might run them again. If you're interested in that, just let us know in the comments. Right, without any further ado, we're going to get back to the incident at the Etihad on the 19th of August 2023. Newcastle were playing their 8 p.m. kickoff. Mark here was one of the lads arrested, along with his son, Sean. So Mark, from your perspective, just to remind everybody what happened.
Well, what happened was we got off at the Etihad Stadium, and we just had 2 flares off. The next minute, the police just handcuffed and took my son to the ground. And I said, what's going on here? I said, because at the end of the day, I've noticed, right, that Man City had flares, right? I've seen all the documentaries and that. And basically locked up and was stuck there, right? And I was looking for nearly a 3 to 5 year ban.
How did it make you feel being locked up just outside the Etihad in front of fellow Newcastle fans?
Disgusting. I felt like I thought, right, I was getting victimised because I had a black and white top on.
So just by pure coincidence, Helen and I were down at the Etihad. We've been to Mary D's bar just outside the stadium, the Man City bar. And we got to the car parking area just inside the perimeter fence. It was just after 7 p.m. So I was stood literally about a bus length away from Mark and his son. I didn't know them. I witnessed what happened. And from my point of view, the police just barged in, were really quite heavy-handed. And within a split second, your son Sean was on the deck and they're being handcuffed and led away. And I felt really strongly about that. I thought it was really out of order what had happened. So, and then the following day, when we were getting the train back to Newcastle, we bumped into Mark and Sean. That was the first time we had a chat. And you explained to me, Mark, that you've been charged with an offence under the Sporting and Events Act 1985. And then a day or two later, you sent me a copy of the charge sheet. And you'd been charged with a particular offence, and it was section 2A1A, and a person is guilty of an offence if there's an article which was a pyrotechnic, which is a flare or substance to which this section applies, at any time during the period of a designated sporting event when he is in the area of a designated sports ground from which the event may be directly viewed. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with charging, that particular charge can be broken down into 3 component parts. The first one, and all 3 need to be proved in order for a conviction to stick. The first component part was that it was in the time of a sporting event, which it was because it was about an hour before. I think the actual time is about within 3 hours, I might be wrong. The second component part was to be within the area of a sporting ground, and they were just inside the perimeter fence, inside the car parking area of the Etihad. So 2 ticks. It was the third one that I latched onto, which stated that from which they may view the event. And I think in anybody's language that could be interpreted or should be interpreted as being inside the stadium where the event, you can see the football match or the rugby match or whatever. And going back to 1985 when this piece of legislation came out, it was clearly meant for that. People bringing flares into stadiums, setting them off, and that's what it was designed for. So I took exception to the charge because, in my opinion, they're being charged with an offence they hadn't committed. I contacted your solicitor.
Yes.
Remind us what he's called?
Cash Con Solicitors.
Where are they based?
West End of Newcastle, or Westgate Road.
Cashcon solicitor. So I emailed the solicitor, introduced myself, let them know that I witnessed the event, but also provided a diagram of exactly what had happened and that I took exception to the charge that they've been charged with. But he initially had a different view.
Oh yeah, he did. He said, "I should just plead guilty. And I'm not going to plead guilty to something." I said, I don't disagree. I had the flare, but I wasn't in the event.
And that's right. So when I emailed his solicitor did say that he was encouraging Mark and his son to plead guilty to the offence, and the plan was to then fight the banning order. And in his opinion, in the email to me, because we exchanged a few emails over a couple of days, in his opinion, it would be the chances were very slim of succeeding in fighting a banning order. So I give him my opinion and asked if there was any stated cases in relation to anybody going to trial for this particular offence. He checked, there wasn't, and I said, well, it's probably worthwhile the lads pleading not guilty to take this all the way to court, because I believe that there was a chance the case would be dismissed on that technicality because they couldn't view the event. So a few weeks later, you went down to Manchester Magistrates and you pleaded not guilty?
Not guilty, yeah, not guilty. Then we got a journey to go to Bolton on the 21st of June.
So hop, skip and a jump, we get to Friday. Mark and his son Sean were due to appear at Bolton Magistrates Court for the offence, for a trial, and they dismissed it. Clearly the wrong charge, which is exactly what I thought would happen. So they've dismissed the case. What would have meant to you, Mark? You're a passionate Newcastle fan. If you would received a 3-year banning order?
Oh, it would have devastated us. Because I went to 15 Newcastle games last year, right? I even went back to the Etihad and I was sitting when we played them in the cup match, right? And the day after Manchester, I come all the way back up and I went all the way back down to go and watch them beat Man United 3-0 up the Toon.
Yeah, and you might be asking, why did I get involved? I mean, I don't know Mark, I'd never met him before, hadn't met his son. I just feel really strongly, and for those of you who are a bit confused as to why 1 minute I can praise the police, certainly in regards to the Sycamore Gap event, which I've just recently done a video about, give them a huge pat on the back. It's an amazing job they've done. And in this respect, it's the opposite. JMP police, in my opinion, had got it completely wrong. In fact, they were borderline bullies. And I just feel really strongly about standing up for what's right, what's fair, and what's factual as well. And they let themselves down, in my opinion, on all three.
Can I just say one thing, right? I'd like to thank all the Man City fans that were back and says, like, I hope the lads get home, because they left when the lurch, and because Manchester police were just out of order, and all the Man City fans, right, had my back. And you've seen, I've seen all the videos, all the comments like that, and says, I hope the lads get back all right.
Yeah, I've had some comments from Man City fans as well. And Mark's solicitor actually emailed me. And yeah, he said to me, "Morning, Eddie, I'm on leave at the moment, recovering from surgery. I hope you're well. The case against both was discontinued. I thank you for your time and efforts in relation to this matter. Your help was invaluable." Quite clearly, if I hadn't have stepped in, Mark and his son would have been convicted of an offence that they didn't commit, and would have communicated with Newcastle United and would have received a 3-year banning order. And I think it goes to show as well how careful you've got to be in this particular period of fans getting themselves into difficulties with words that they're saying, with particular behaviours that they're exhibiting, that you're vulnerable to being banned from the club at the drop of a hat. And I think this case just goes to show that.
It does it.
And also, as well, what I find hypocritical as well is that had you have received a 3-year banning order, the irony is if you go on the Newcastle United Amazon Prime documentaries, at the beginning, the opening sequences of each of them, there is a clip of a Newcastle United fan holding a flare, a pyrotechnic, in effect glorifying holding a pyrotechnic. And the lads here could have been banned for the exact same thing. So, really pleased. I thought I'd just do this video to give you an update on what's happened, and let me know down in the comments below your thoughts on all of this and the kind of vulnerable times that we're in getting yourself banned.
Legend, he does the job. I don't need a solicitor when I've got Eddie.
There
And
you
up
go.
there too, we're going to win the league.
See you later.